Proverbs 2:13 to 15. העוזבים אורחות יושר, ללכת בדרכי חושך. השמחים לעשות רע, יגילו בתחפוקות רע. אשר אורחותיהם עיקשים, ונלוזים במגלותם. So you might notice we got 3 verses here today, 13, 14, and 15. And the reason I've joined these together, 2 reasons. One is on the weekend editions, we have a little bit longer, so I can do this. And then also each of these verses, here's 13, 14, and 15, each of these give us a further definition of the types of people that wisdom will guard us from. So if you remember the flow here, we've got treasure wisdom, then you will understand the fear of the Lord. Wisdom will guard you by delivering you initially from men of perverted speech, and then we get more of these here. So that's kind of why we putting all of these together. These are all of the people that wisdom will guard you from or will remove you from. So here at the beginning, we get a call participle, masculine plural, of the verbal root azav, to abandon or forsake. So here we have, with the definite article, the ones, plural, who would forsake the paths of rightness, or the paths of uprightness together. So those who would forsake the paths of uprightness to go in the way of darkness, or to walk in the way of darkness. Here we have the infinitive construct of the verbal root halach. Now remember, halach morphs like the one vav yods, that in the infinitive construct is going to drop that initial hey and then gets the tav at the end. So we have lechet, and then la lechet is the lamed preposition on the front here. So they forsake the path of uprightness for the purpose of walking in the path of darkness. So this is the type of person or the type of situation that wisdom will guard you from, because wisdom will deliver you from this type of scenario. Next, you get another participle. This time the verbal root is the stative verb samach, to be joyful, still masculine plural with the definite article. So you get the ones rejoicing to do evil, or to do wickedness. Here's the call infinitive construct of the verbal root asa. And again, a little morphology here. Third hey drops. You get that ot added on there for the infinitive construct in those third hey verbs, la'asot, to do evil or wickedness. They will rejoice. They, here I think, are the ones who rejoice in doing evil. They will rejoice. The verb this time is a call, imperfect, third masculine plural. Verbal root is gimel yod lamed. And the call here is a little tricky. You've got the a to a because it is an original to yod verb. This is a call, but it does look a little bit like a hifil, so that can be a little tricky. But the verb here is to rejoice, and they will rejoice in the perversities of evil. So they find joy to do evil, and then they rejoice in the perversities of evil. These descriptions here remind me of the group in Romans 1:32. It says, though they know God's righteous decree that those who practice such things deserve to die, they not only do them, but give approval to those who practice them. They rejoice and they find joy in the perversities of evil. Again, let me remind you, this is the type of action, this is the type of person, this is the type of personification that wisdom will guard you from by delivering you from these things. And so, again, how could you not treasure wisdom the way Proverbs is presenting it here? So just an incredible book. I love it. Verse 15 here, we begin with a asher. So we begin with a relative clause, and I think we could go here with the masculine plural participles that we have here and say something like the ones who, we might say, and this is how parallelism can work, but that is a little bit far removed from the lines, but I think we can go with that. Or we might think just more generically, the one who, or the man who, something like that could work. Notice here we get the plural in this case, their paths, their plural paths. So we might think more of the ones who here at the beginning, the ones who, their paths are, verbless clause, their paths are twisted, and twisted here in the sense of being false or crooked, something like that, who their paths are crooked, and ones who go wrong in their wagon tracks, maglot. So come back and pick up the verb here. This one we have is a nifal participle. The verbal root is lamed vav zayin. This is to go wrong, to be crooked. It also has little connotations of escaping from someone's sight when it's used with me'ene. All of that comes from halot. And what we have then is something like devious is what you get from the ESV on this one. So kind of think like it goes wrong, or there's crooked, cunning, that kind of idea here. So those who are going wrong and crooked in their wagon tracks. Now, paths might be a word or that you see here, or a synonym. Ways might be a word here, but notice this is that word for wagon tracks that we saw earlier. So the people that you'll be guarded from is those who can take these straight wagon tracks and mess them up. They can mess them up. I guess messing them up, the best way you can do it is to cross them. That's pretty terrible there. But they're able to mess up these straight wagon tracks that you would think wisdom could keep you on. That seems pretty serious, I think. And yet, remember that the whole context of these verses is that wisdom will guard you from this situation. Wisdom will guard you from those who deviously veer from the wagon tracks. And thankfully, wisdom is going to guard you by delivering you from these people.